And you want to open to, do you have something that looks like this in here? There you go, perfect, you got it. Okay, here is test time. Here is test time. Test is coming right here, and we got some nice samples over here. Remember that, you know, inside of a little sheepy, their head is more oblong, you might say. It's not round or rounder like ours is. So everything's going to be stretched out a little bit longer, you might say. So there's our brain. We got it. What portion of the brain is this going to be?
Cerebellum.
That's the cerebellum. All right. Then this has got to be who?
Cerebrum.
Cerebrum. Okay. Now remember your lines. We got a line coming right down the middle. Longitudinal who? Fissure. Okay. Across the back, you told me this is the cerebellum. You told me that this is the cerebrum. So what's this got to be?
Transverse.
Transverse fissure. All right. We picked out those two things. What is this portion that goes down your vertebral column? That's the spinal cord. Well, the brainstem would end about here. That would be the medulla. It would end right about there. So that's pretty good. Okay, so I got my cerebral cortex, I got my longitudinal, I got my cerebellum, I got the transverse fissure over here. Am I going too fast for you, Sam?
No.
And we got the spinal cord. Okay, no big deal. What lobe is this going to be over here?
Frontal.
It's going to be the front. What lobe is this going to be back here? Occipital. Now, this isn't exactly human, right? So things are going to be off a little bit. You can see a little depression right here. Any guess? Central sulcus. Which means this has to be what lobe? Frontal, which means this has to be? Parietal. Okay. Temporally, there's really not a whole lot to see over here, but there it's going to be. Did I ask you some nerves? You have to know some nerves?
Nah.
I didn't? I thought I did. I thought I did. Okay.
Optic nerves. Those are the olfactory?
Olfactory nerves. Very good. You guys are quick, okay? This has been cut off here, but this would lead out to this hollow portion, and this would lead out to this hollow portion.
Optic?
Optic. Very, very good. You're quick. I like that. Yeah. Now, did you have the term optic chiasma on your notes? Okay, that's where the optic nerves cross at that particular point. Your pituitary gland is going to be right back here. So we got olfactory bulbs, we got the optic nerves have been cut off, but this section here is called the optic chiasma. What else can we tell on this little brain? That's about it. That's all we can really tell on the whole section. We look at half section, sagittal section, and there's a lot more that we can see here. We can see these white fibers, these white threads. Arborvitae, exactly. So then this structure has to be who?
Cerebellum.
That's got to be the cerebellum. I want you guys to think, and you guys are thinking. You're doing a great job. There's a hole, a big hole right here. Which ventricle? You're right. Not the third. Not the fourth. This is on camera. This is on YouTube. I'm very embarrassed. World, I'm very embarrassed. No, I'm not. All right? These guys are good. Lateral ventricle, exactly. Okay, coming down here, we see this tube that starts from the third ventricle, goes down to the fourth ventricle, then down the cerebral aqueduct. Right. Now, right where it passes through between the cerebellum and the pons, it kind of widens a little bit. It kind of opens up a little bit. That's another ventricle. Which one is it? That's the fourth ventricle. So this tube is the cerebral aqueduct. We can see the fourth ventricle. This is the lateral ventricle, or one of them up here. Third ventricle's kind of hard to see, as I've mentioned before. Now, I mentioned this downstairs. This region is much larger in your herbivores, you might say, like sheep and cows and horses. Anybody remember what it's called?
The mass, yeah.
Intermediate mass.
Intermediate mass of who?
Thalamus.
The thalamus, exactly. It's very large. You can see how round it is. There's some spongy-looking stuff on the inside here that's actually tiny blood capillaries. What is it called?
Corpus.
You're close. Blood capillaries inside the ventricles.
Carotid?
You're thinking. Produces CSF. I don't see any in here. Choroid plexus from the back. Very good. Okay. So what did I ask you? Okay. What lobe is this going to be? Frontal. What lobe is this going to be back here? That's going to be occipital. We really can't see a whole lot more in terms of lobes from sagittal section on here. But there is one more thing we can see on here. That is this organ right here. That's actually, well, it's partly a gland, and I'll give you a hint. It produces melatonin. The pineal gland, exactly. All right, guys, I've asked you just about everything I can ask you on your test. 2 more questions. There's a bulbous area here that helps to control respiration, has a lot of tracts in it. Pons, and there's one just beneath it that has a cardiac center, respiratory center, and vasomotor center. Medulla. What's its last name? Oblongata. You guys just passed that part of your lab test.